when we took Nahas off. So from Navi, I'd like to see the Enchantress. I like to see art style first of all on his jungle roles, and I just like to see that aggression that it brings early game.
Okay.
I wanted
You
offlane bottom.
didn't like the AA?
You want an offlane bottom?
The general offlane bottom.
Didn't enjoy the AA?
No, unlike you guys, I actually didn't find it particularly good.
No.
I don't think his ultis were that good. But I just kept it to myself. No reason to flame.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I'm a very positive guy.
Do you agree, Bambo, that VP should have won that first game?
By far. Did you see Yoki's network?
Yeah, I
He had
thought
like 14k.
Yeah, Will got tilted up here watching that game.
It's frustrating watching a team lose like that because you know that VP is capable of more, and to see them kind of go in like that.
Okay, I'm gonna get some bat bounty.
This is one of my favorite openers because it just screams aggression and ganks. Yep. So I love it when I see a Bat Rider bounty opening.
And Navi have done it before.
Yep.
Bambo Bat Rider, fond memories of that in Korea.
You wanna be reminded of the fucking NSL finals? How I single-handedly destroyed the top lane?
Alright, I've actually had the displeasure of playing with Bambo and Demon on the same team at the same time. That's the most throwy lineup you can. You don't even have to add other players.
Dude, my heart couldn't handle just Bambo.
When was the last time I threw a game?
Last time you played a game.
I don't know how. That's why Jacob quit Dota. Once he was on that lineup, he was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's just tilted me for life.
All right, guys, let's be serious, shall we?
Why? We were enjoying that so much. You can carry on.
Okay, Slark. That's a really early
start.
start.
The natural bat kind of counters.
Yeah. It's so hard for a bat to open up on Slark, I think. Especially in laning phase, because you can just keep shedding the napalm stacks.
Also practicing on LAN, you all usually like play faster. Like your reactions are way faster.
On LAN?
On LAN.
You think so?
Yeah.
Bambo's trying to say he's a LAN performer.
I am.
One day you'll get to play at LAN as well.
One day.
When Kai P gets there. Dude, I have faith.
You gotta believe, man.
For your fan out there, man. Alright, so 2 more bans. What's wrong, Paul? Dude, there's gotta be somebody out there that's holding up a Bambo sign. I'm not saying here, just somewhere.
Hey man, I like Bambi.
So do I, man. I lived with him for a year. It was great.
10 seconds.
Was it?
No.
Was it great?
You stole our couch, man.
I like the Witch Doctor ban coming out from Navi. One of the ones that combos really well with Faceless Void when he ultis, and then Cask is just so annoying to play against.
I think Witch Doctor is super bad this meta. He just feels like he always gets run over.
Yeah. We were saying that in the first game, that he's just too slow. You can't keep up with the rest of your team.
Yeah, in these kind of fighty lineups.
Yeah. I think that's sometimes an ambiguous term, so I'll just clarify for people. When we say a hero is too slow, or that it just doesn't fit right now, it just means the pace of the game. Like a hero like Witch Doctor.
Not physical movement.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really do anything with him as the game goes on later. Yeah, Death Ward is theoretically a great spell, but
you're basically a Cask, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still kind of RNG.
Okay. They come back around and get a second phase this time.
Does that mean bat mid?
Potentially.
Maybe Slaughter mid, the Quo style.
You think so? This early on, though?
I think the key point is it's going to keep VP guessing as well.
Like a mind game.
One position slaughter.
Jacob inventing new meta over there.
I mean, that would be what MVP would do. But I think it's more likely that Slark goes off, Bat is played by Dendi mid.
They could, like last pick an Invoker, but start our safe lane. It goes well with the lineup.
Yeah, they have options.
There's no Drow band. Phase 2. No Winrow. Both teams have run them. Both teams have run them together. And one with a Slark.
I don't think it fits at all here for either team.
What do you think about the saving mechanisms against Bat? Oracle or Venge in this game?
I prefer Venge over Oracle.
Yeah, I'm with the Vengeful as well.
Oracle
Good
was
against Lardar.
Oracle was
Jump.
quite popular yesterday again, wasn't it? Few picks from Oracle yesterday. Complexity even picked it one.
Navi picked it against OG.
Yeah.
Seneko went off, but that hero also doesn't seem to have the most stable games.
Tell us
Yeah,
why
like
you didn't
Oracle,
mention
yeah.
Shadow Demon as one of the saving graces.
Shadow Demon? Just think the hero.
It's not really a save, it's like you disable your own hero.
Yeah.
And then you have like 2 seconds of the enemy just running over you. Why just wait for that?
CM's been a popular pick for both teams as well over the last couple of months. Two of the few that are.
10 seconds.
I think it's okay here. Both these heroes benefit pretty heavily from the aura. The soft disable of Bite is okay against these heroes just because Slardar should get a later BKB in a game like this.
Just for info as well. Virtus.Pro decided for first pick. Navi decided Dire.
Dire Slardar.
I still think it's Invoker or Windrunner or Dandy.
It would be sick with Slardar.
Fits so well here for them.
Does put Ditya Ra in a position though where he has to play the one position Slardar, and he usually seems like he's more comfortable doing otherwise. And this is a really greedy support duo, Bounty Hunter and Chen.
Yep.
Yeah.
You really think they can still?
They should abuse them. Put Slark solo against Bats. And go aggro. I think they will be really strong.
Yeah.
And the CM kind of counters the Chen creeps.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's probably
Chen
the
is really
greatest
worth
support pick they could do.
Yeah.
It's just odd because Chen isn't really gonna do. You don't want Chen to be forced into lane to go to your safe lane. You want him to be mobile around the map, and Bounty Hunter's kind of in a similar situation.
And he offers nothing against the lineup of Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, the Crystal Maiden's already pretty good against the Chen, and
Void and Slack.
yeah, it's not even like
I guess Chen has like no place here. Like he's only defensive.
it's an art style classic.
It is, and it is a push hero. They want to establish dominance.
This last hero for Navi is gonna tie so much together for them.
I prefer the Windrunner. It's also like nice with the bounty.
It gives them options to go later as well.
The Wind
And
Ranger?
Roche. It gives them Roche as well.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
I feel like they're so not all in, but a lot of their damage source then would just come from Wind Ranger, because you can expect Slardar to have rough laning phase, and they have so many different ways to single target disable the Wind Ranger. Like I feel like at that point, all you have to do is the Void is make sure she's in the chrono. Like that's your only goal throughout this game.
But how I see it is like whoever engages is gonna win the fight.
Yeah,
Whoever goes first and like gets a good jump.
I guess Navi do have two different ways.
They both have like good jumps.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh.
Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
That's a Huskar ban. That's from when Navi used it in Manila against Alliance.
A raw special.
10 seconds remaining.
So what times will this together, Blitz?
But they had a Shadow Priest that game, didn't they?
5 seconds remaining.
And DP.
Probably.
Navi's turn to pick.
Okay, Death Prophet. So they just push the pace of the game. I think this is more balanced as well because they can go later on in the game.
Yeah, Virtus.Pro has a really well-rounded lineup.
I thought that last game too, man.
10
But it's
seconds
even
remaining.
more well-rounded.
Even more circular.
5 seconds remaining.
This is a hard game for Navi, I think.
They just need to survive the laning stage, then it will be fine. But that's like the hard part.
Yeah. They have two such greedy supports. They could still take a safe lane or two if they decide they're just going to have a one-on-one matchup against a Void, but there's not a whole lot of heroes that can one-on-one zone out a Void. And Bounty Hunter and Chen don't pose any threats to him either, is the problem.
The slaughter bats kind of fucked him over.
Yeah. Okay, what's the last hero then?
It's a Sven.
So that is a mid bat?
Yeah.
I don't agree with this at all. The Void is gonna destroy this one-on-one.
I think so too.
Not confident
Nope.
in Navi's picks at all. Jacob?
Judging by the silence of us, I think we're most of all puzzled by what Navi is doing. Just a bit like, what is the purpose of these picks? The ending was just weird to me. But VP, great lineup again. Hey, go guys.
Okay, thanks to all three. We're going to head back to three fine gentlemen who are in the commentary box right now. We're going to bring you game number 2.
Thanks very much, Paul. Indeed, we're just getting ready here. Navi versus VP. I'm OD Pixel. I'm joined by Cap and Mr. Penwu. Game 1, guys, a little bit of a shambles for VP. They showed their strength in the early game in the laning stage, but Navi just crushed them at the end of it, Cap.
Yeah, they really did, and it's kind of concerning because we're in the same, like, it's very much deja vu, where I'm looking at this lineup and I'm like, man, I really like VP's lineup, but then we felt that way about game 1, and they just really failed to execute. Like, Virtus.Pro looked probably the worst that I've ever seen them. Like, of iteration, it was just like, there was such a clear game plan that they were supposed to execute, they just, like, failed to. So, hopefully they've worked out the kinks between game 1 and game 2, and they're gonna look a whole lot better, because they're gonna need it, because Navi are certainly a team rising with just momentum as a whole. Just even, like, before the middle of Major, you could kind of feel it, where Navi were gonna be good again. And they showed it in Manila somewhat, and I think they're going to continue to show it as they move on forward to TI.
I mean, Ben, would you agree with kind of Cap in the panel saying that VP's draft is pretty solid this time against Navi's lineup?
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of game number 1. VP have a very strong team fight lineup. They're on Radiant. Navi, they're on Dire again with the Sardar, with a better pickoff lineup. There are some odd pieces here and there with the Chen in particular that was drafted after the Crystal Maiden, and Dendi on Batrider, who doesn't necessarily scale as well, but they do have the Sven in the safe lane this time. So this game, we'll probably expect Faceless Void to get similar amounts of farm as to the Tidehunter last game, but can they bring it all together in a team fight is a big question.
Well, Yoku was already always known for like more carry style offlaners, right? So maybe this will fit in his kind of ballpark a little bit better. Not sure.
No fair, actually rolling in and very aggressively here, wanting to kick something off. Seneko chipping away at FNG on the back lines, and they'll crush down. They'll take first blood, Navi, and now they'll look for more. G potentially in trouble as well, as they'll chase him up to the high ground. 3 stacks of napalm. General's gonna have a crush again, and here we have it, closing the gap. G pulse for stick charges is gonna be enough to keep him alive. Turns towards Arstal, but no, they'll lose a second, and now Arstal taken down by No Fear. But Navi, they're gonna find themselves the third here. 3 for 1 to open up the game. Navi literally crushing VP there with General's performance, Ben.
And last game, they kind of had a redeeming laning phase. That was kind of the bright part of that game, and this game does not look like they're going to be that fortunate.
Yeah, they chose to go into a level 1 fight against a Batrider, and they just got sticky napalm slowly but surely to death. Trading for 3 for 1.
And Earth Spirit missed his role.
Yeah, I think Yoku really needs to be able to carry his team essentially, because he is going to be in a really favorable position. This is what like the panel was talking about. He's got essentially 1v1 because we've got 2 roamers on the side of Navi.
It's not that sort of game, though. I don't think a solo offlane Void can carry the game. You need your Death Prophet to be strong, to not die, to be there for all these team fights. You need your Earth Spirit to hit his spells and be effective in the early game. You can't just have Void do well. Kind of like last game, Tidehunter did extremely well, but if they don't work together well in the mid game, they're still going to lose.
Well, maybe doing well in the laning phase means he's able to pick up like a faster blink tagger or something, and he gets the kind of initiations that ties the team fight together. But that was also what we expected out of the Tidehunter, and we didn't see it then.
That's bottom lane General, just coming around. Is going to get caught out by the stun. The pounce will miss from a low hard dance though. General should be fine to walk this one off, but at the same time, it certainly looks like General, he's going to have a harder time on this lane compared to the Void on the off lane for VP.
Oh, certainly. This is like any lane where you don't have a blink mechanism against Slark is just scary, because this carry is able to offer so much kill power. And that's something that many other carries are not able to, simply because he has the disable of pounce.
And up in the top lane, looks like the Void and the Sven are getting similar amounts of CS. Bounty Hunter trying to interfere once again. And let's see, Chen, no smoke on him. He actually has a TP scroll. I think one thing that wasn't really discussed on the panel is the save from Chen onto the Faceless Void chrono target. I think having the send back is very, very important as a defensive tool for the Chronosphere when you don't have a bench swap or something similar.
Mid lane, the matchup between Dendi and G. Just slightly favouring G at the moment. 13 for 5 against Dendi's 9 for 2. So it's a strong start here for the Death Prophet. Top lane, Yoku being forced back.
Just trading hits with Seneko until he's forced to use the healing style, but he's got a full wave coming to him, so he, I don't know, Ben, have you seen, we were talking about the max time lock build. Do you think this is one of those situations, because you're in a 1v1 half the time, that you do go for the max time lock again?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be, they don't have low cooldown spells. The one that we saw a couple matches, but the Stormbolt's like really long cooldown. That's really what you're scared of. Yeah. So as long as you can just avoid the damage after that, you should be okay. And it should help him 8 up in his farm, because as you mentioned, Yoku does like getting that gold.
Kind of seems like Navi, I almost expected them to do more stacking with art style, but he's spending more of his time like just farming as the Chen.
I mean, where does Artstyle look to kind of make his first movement on the Chen? What lane are you looking towards to get that potential for a gank off?
There's multiple avenues you can go. Like if you have a Satyr, you can just use it to handle the Faceless Void. He's out of consumables for regen, so they can just park the Satyr up there, so that Sven gets really ahead in the lane. You can also do the same thing in the mid lane, so that Batrider can do his thing. You can also just use your creeps to stack.
Bottom lane, as we see General getting caught out by low hard darts and no fear. I mean, you guys said at the start it's going to be the trickier off lane, but at the same time, VP's off lane. Yoku could be in trouble. Artstyle coming with the wraparound. Have they got the chains tonight? I guess more importantly, they've got the damage with the Shadow Blast. They do. Artstyle tests the faith of Yoku and it comes back negative. The burst is there. 4 for 2.
That chainstun was like near perfect. I wasn't sure the Stormhammer. I thought maybe he threw it just a little bit too early, but they managed to get the Centaur there in time to combo that stun, and no time walk for the Void to be able to get out and get another kill. Jesus, Slordar is just getting eaten alive by Aloha Dance.
And this is General kind of slipping back on his performance. I mean, General normally a player that you can always rely on. He's a very, very reliable player in the off lane, but at the start of this game, giving these kills to a Slark, that's a little bit risky, Ben. This Slark's going to get potentially out of control.
Yeah. Because Batrider isn't going to be able to effectively or reliably deal with them later. They don't have like a smoke screen like they did last game. And
mid lane, eyes onto Dendi. No fear rolling in, will find the follow through stun at Dendi. As the fairy fire, is it going to be enough to save him? Seneko slowing down no fear. Dendi trying to do his best to get out of it, and with the Firefly, he will. The Crypt Swarm, it's not going to connect. Dendi plays his way around VP and will manage to survive that 3-man gang.
Well, I can't believe he turned around and went for that sticky napalm. I thought he was going to die to the Crypt Swarm because of that, but he gets sent back to base. He'll be able to TP back in. One of the great things about the Chen, that free ride, so an unsuccessful gank doesn't really slow down the Batrider at all. They do have the difference between like our 4 positions at this point. Crystal Main doing the Frostbite jungling while Artstyle on the Chen is already level 5. And that's kind of be expected. Chen is always going to outfarm the CM, but the question is, where's his first impact going to be made?
Mid lane, trying to go on Dendi again. Has the Firefly, starts to turn around. Has 3 napalm stacks onto G. Does just pop, but Seneko underneath the tower. Unlikely that VP can go for that one. And again, VP offering a lot here, but at the same time, they're getting punished incredibly heavily. No fear. Taking down relatively low. And again, we're just seeing this 3-man attempt mid being kind of put back every time just by the presence of a bounty hunter on top of Dendi.
Yeah, Artstyle finally makes his rotation over to mid. I think it was kind of needed earlier, just because Virtus.Pro are going to try and put pressure on Dendi and prevent that Blink Dagger from being picked up. But I think Artstyle was kind of hoping he would get his level 6 before he was
if Seneko finds him here. Spirit, he's got to be careful. And he's keeping himself hidden in the trees. The pings were coming out from RMFNG, I think, just making sure that No Fear hangs back. Now try and move on to Dendi. Baiting out No Fear, but Seneko coming close to the tower has now revealed his location, and Dendi could be in trouble. Silenced up, gets himself just above the last tower hit. Oh! Who doesn't get him? Dendi will get himself out. Again, this man, he just won't die, Ben.
he really won't. And Artstyle was very patiently waiting up there, trying to set up some sort of gank.
Oh, never mind. He was,
right. I mean, the Chrono, it didn't miss a cap.
Nope, he did not miss the chrono. You can always give him that much. Yoku, I think that was definitely needed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Chen is really high level, so he's a pretty valuable kill, and you're probably unlikely to see a better Chronosphere scenario anytime soon. The next Chronosphere should be linked up with maybe Crystal Maiden getting level 6 with Freezing Fields. You've got, like, a very clear kill combination that can kill even, like, the Sven. That could be the next year you could show.
I would have liked to see Slardar come in for that, because they were trying to wrap around the tower. Like, Dendi was trying to push out the wave, Artstyle was posed up on top of the cliff with his 3 creeps, and the Seneko was to the south side. If they had another hero there to actually force a fight at the tower and not at that awkward position to the south of the Ancients, then I think they would have come up with a DP kill as well as significant damage on the tower.
Well, style in general. Now maybe going to start to make that move you talked about as a group, and here we have it, yeah, with the smoke. But is it going to be a smoke into a smoke, and VP, they'll have the high ground, but still kind of hanging around, allowing Seneko to climb up. No fear with the kick, holding them back with that stunt. And looks like Na'Vi won't be able to find anything here, so fortunate positioning from VP, ensuring that Na'Vi don't get that wraparound that they were looking for.
And now Artstyle just needs so much time to build up his creep. He sent his Wild King back home, but it died in base, and he had 3 creeps near that last engagement, but it's going to take him a couple more minutes, and this has significantly slowed down his farm.
It certainly has. The mech, it's pretty important for this team, and General is probably going to end up going down again. He's managed to dodge the stun, but it's not enough.
Yeah, 3 heroes present. It's another bit of action here for Lohar Dance. I mean, this Slark, he's found so much in lane with the kills the General's been giving them, and the fact that he's had pretty much uninterrupted CS. He's 2-0-2. I mean, at this point, you just pick up an Iron Talon cap and just go jungle. Just screw the lane.
Well, he's already got the Iron Talon, so he's kind of doing both. Like, he's Iron Taloning, and then he shows up to lane once it pushes in. But as we've seen, Virtus.Pro are very free to dive the tower because they know the Bounty Hunter and the Chen are always mid, and part of that is the pressure that they put on the lane early. We are going to see Na'Vi, they're about to hit, like, what are their timings? They've got these kind of weird timings, just like last game, where, like, the 10 to 20 minute marker, they're going to have a lot of opportunities to go for pickoffs. That is off the back of Dendy's Blink Dagger, obviously, so maybe they can start getting some the 2-man rotations, Dendy and the Bounty Hunter, moving around, getting pickoffs together, and maybe getting that level 6, so you can start getting track kills. The weird part is, like, they don't have a greedy forward position to take over the mid when Denny's gone.
Nice move from No Fear coming in with a kick. Have they got the damage to bring down Seneko? They've dropped Magnetize. This one, they'll find it. No Fear could be in trouble. The last tower hit not going to do it. G has his back there, fills him up with the bottle. So No Fear will survive, and VP get away with that gank.
And an older build coming out from Data with the HOD as opposed to the newer Armlet, and just constantly stacking up the Ancients himself. Oftentimes you'll just see Chen devote 1 creep purely to stacking the Ancients, but this will free him up to either speed up his own farm himself or pressure some other points around the map.
Alright, well, here comes that Blink Dagger rotation. Yoku, I think, is a pretty good target. And this is a very easy kill, obviously, with Ditchira. The big upside is they could have gone for the tier 1, but looks like VP have already made the counter rotation.
I want to try and go back in there, pop the Ghost for this, but Na'Vi keep their distance. And just begs the question, is G actually going to be able to get to anything done with this Exorcism? There obviously is a tier 1 here.
He doesn't mind popping it. He had Arcane Rune. I think if he didn't have Arcane Rune, he'd be a little bit more judicious, but you're like, I can get a little bit of damage, but, you know, clearly that's not what you want out of
He's in trouble. Lohar Dart's coming in, jumping straight onto the Chen. The Shadow Play reveal. They'll secure another kill for Lohar Darts. I mean, it really feels that at this rate cap, the progress of this Slark really could come back to bite Na'Vi in the back.
Oh yeah, Style is just like, thanks, General. You fed away a really early Shadow Blade. Now, not all of that is General's fault. It was a really tough lane. Like, Earth Spirit gets the initiation on you, it guarantees pounce, and you're dead from there. So, it was just they keep giving him these tough lanes where he tries to survive, but maybe he should have just Iron Taloned from the get-go. Virtus.Pro, they also have a lineup that is enabled because of the early Shadow Blade to go for these quick pickoffs, and they're going to do it again. Stop General from getting his Blink Dagger is a great idea.
General, he's starting to back up. Will duke out the stun. Silence connects, but Lohar Dart's not wanting to dive this, at least for the time being. Still keeping an eye on him, and General, dukes out the jump here. It's a good job as well. He could have been in a fair bit of trouble. So General's going to live this time.
I think General, like, he knew what was coming in some ways, but he's got that Chen heal to back him up. So they went for a dive under their tier 2 tower. It actually may not have been a good idea for VP.
And Sven has a lot of gold. He has enough money for Blink Dagger, but I'm curious as to what he's going to buy next. There is a two-man smoke to Yaron and Denny heading towards the Rune, even using the Warcry to boost him up a little bit.
Although still eyes on General. Really wants to try and have a go, but General he's certainly playing a lot safer than he was earlier. Giving any opportunity for this to happen top lane. As you said, with the smoke to Duran Dendi looking to catch out Yoku. Trying to head off to the side, see if Denny can get the jump on. Courier is there, and Dishra maybe thinking about going for this one. Yoku has got a Chronosphere, but he's actually going to get stunned up. Dendi's there with a follow-up control with a lasso, and not a chance for Yoku to get the Chrono out. FNG walks into this one, does have backup. The blink out's there from Dishra, TP's away, and Na'Vi, they get away with that one scot-free.
Like Yoko didn't expect them to make that same kind of rotation from the Batrider again, but you have to understand, like, the Slark is just not a good hero for Dendi to try and gank. If he gets off the quick ultimate or Dark Pact, it just totally defeats the whole rotation. So if you have a value hero, oftentimes Death Prophet's a little bit off the map, but he's got the supports behind him, so Yoku's kind of the free pick-off time and time again.
He thought about crafting a Chrono. I thought I saw him.
He did, yeah, he cancelled casted it, yeah.
That would have been great. His team was ready for that. VP are playing much more like a team this game.
Yep.
Like they're kind of setting up for the Faceless Void. They've TP'd twice top to help them out.
The first time they made that rotation, it was just like they're just maybe 2 seconds too late. If they make the rotation a little bit preemptively, they could have cleaned up and taken the tier 1 tower immediately, and that would have sped up the game quite a bit for VP. Here though, Na'Vi, they're getting some of the pickoffs that they need to keep Virtus.Pro off kilter, but...
And Lucas and Echo, 4 move in and Lower Darts jumping in. Another kill for Slark, 4-0-2. VP, so if they want us to remain mid and go for a push, they have got Chronosphere available if Na'Vi want to try and fight, but Na'Vi, that's for the meantime. Dendi up top continues to farm, and bottom lane Titra just cutting the wave. VP may make a beeline to try and stop this.
Still a pretty good blink timing coming out from General despite the early deaths, and this may catch VP by surprise.
Titra looks to be the one that might get surprised, but Loud Hearts now, he's not going to go for that one. But FNG's found the easier kill on the back lines, and immediately presence of the slugs finish up Hostile. And popping the freezing field here, FNG. Maybe a little bit unnecessary, but I guess at least trying to...
With all his creeps again.
This is more money here for this Slark. Alright, in fact, G, he'll take it down with the crit swarm. How do they kill this Slark, Cap? They've got to do something about him eventually, surely.
I'm not entirely sure what the game plan is for Na'Vi at this point, because like the weird thing is, when they're farming up on the Sven and they're trying to rotate Dendi around, there's no like greedy 4 position from Na'Vi to place in the mid lane to take advantage of the farm opening there. It's not like a bound, like this is twice now that Seneco's got caught out and he returns a 3rd time to go into the mid lane and try and like pick up some farms, some experience, maybe a couple of CS, but what's the point of playing a bounty hunter at this point? It's just like the weird, you know, double, like they don't have a real support. They just have the bounty hunter and the Chen rotating around constantly.
They need the Chen to be doing this.
Yeah.
They need the Chen to be sitting and soaking mid and then apply pressure with his creeps.
Oh, General. A little bit of a misplay there with the early yours, missing the stun, but it might not matter. It doesn't look like it will. Then move in, Siphon. Actually, General getting himself away for the meantime with the sprint. It's going to force VP to dive incredibly deep for this kill. Yoku drops the Chrono, catches out General and Dendi, coming in with the reaction. The question is, could Na'Vi punish this? The track's starting to come out. VP on the retreat. Dendi jumps forward, unable to find anything, but now the ghosts come out. VP, they're in to still fight. FNG will get picked off on the sidelines by Seneco. That's one track kill going the way of Na'Vi. G trying to move in, but Stormhammer's there. Ditchera turning back in, but they can't bite through G. He's too tanky at this point of the game, walks it off. Ghosts are going to be healing him up again in a second. So VP, just the 1-for-1 here. And yeah, Na'Vi unable to punish it anymore. So they do lose FNG, but they get another kill onto General.
Just bad execution doesn't allow them to get the immediate Sardar kill, and then they're forced to use the Chronosphere to ensure it, and that actually results in them not getting the tier 2 tower. Like cleaner execution allows VP to take a much larger lead from that pickoff than they actually did. They also wouldn't have lost to the Crystal Maiden, and now the Exorcism, knowing that it's down, Na'Vi are going to go for Roshan, and then they've actually hold like maybe this team fight swing where they're the ones perhaps dominant for 5 minutes because of an extra life.
Nice patience
Here,
from
good
Artstyle
contest.
too. I think if he had used the
Oh, General jumps out, catches out, no fear. The follow-through damage is there for Digiro, but the freezing field is going to be cancelled. Artstyle being focused by Aloha Darts. That'll be the first one. If they can find anything more, but Digiro working through G. Second one, a third one, as Seneko picks them off on the sidelines, and they're chasing down Aloha Darts. Aloha Darts still eyes onto General. He's got to be careful though. Na'Vi still with a 4-man alive. Lasso's available from Denny, trying to close the gap onto Yoku. Flame breaks him back. Digiro's there. General with the crush, and Na'Vi find themselves a fourth. A very convincing fight around the Roshan pit there for the side of Na'Vi. And they'll be sure to maybe head back in and finish that one off for themselves.
Ben, do you think Aegis was that big of a
No.
deal that he needed to try and fight them without Exorcism?
or Chronosphere.
Yeah, or
Maybe.
Chronosphere.
But maybe if like Slark had wrapped around and picked up one of the supports really quickly, like Chen, I would say like maybe, but they're just gonna take down Roche way too quickly with the amplified damage, and then they're forced into a position that they didn't want to be in the first place and shouldn't have been in.
Yeah, these are the kind of mistakes that Virtus.Pro, like the lineup looks fine, but it falls apart if you don't execute properly, and well,
Virtus
simple
throws
things.
back.
Yeah. Really is. I like Artstyle is now trying to like push out lanes as a Chen half the time. When he was doing it in mid, it was okay because he could take that tier 1 tower. But once it was gone, it's like, okay, now what do you do as the Chen? Because you can't push forward enough to threaten a tier 2 most likely.
Needs to be careful. I don't think he's going to be careful enough. Indeed, Lardas finds the bounce connect. Asta pops the Meg. The Crystal Burst, they'll take him down. And do anything in return. Immediately, Digiro jumping onto No Fear. The trap is there as well from Artstyle, helping out from the grave. And Na'Vi will find a kill in return. G and Lardas on the retreat. Doesn't look like Na'Vi will be able to catch them. They're trying their best. Dendy with the Firefly. Actually, he's got the first napalm on. Maybe this will be enough to allow them to start to close the gap. And G's just a little bit too speedy, and Na'Vi won't pursue. So just a 1-for-1 trade there. And
That was very dangerous. Chen almost had his ultimate up when they went on him. They might have not even gotten the Chen kill at that point. And feeding 1-for-1 against Track, not so great. I don't think Seneko was there for that fight though.
Kind of think they just need to, like, when they have Chronosphere and Exorcism, go for the clean pickup where you go like push down mid, you make an initiation with Chronosphere, you get the pick off, and then take a tower. But when that's down, I think they just need to let Aloha dance, do Aloha dance things. He's a great carry. Just have him move around, get pickoffs around the map, and even if he's not doing that, he's probably like farming up the dire jungle. This team doesn't like scale as poorly as the last.
Digiro, this would be a great kill to start the fight off if the PP can get away with it, but Digiro pops the wall, Crab before the silence comes out. General with the crush, holding Aloha Darts in place with the siphons out. Digiro with a 3-man stun, he can't get himself away. Yoku with the first hit bash. That's the Aegis hitting the decks. CM keeping control of Denny on the sidelines with a freezing field as well. They've got more than enough damage here by the looks of it to bring down Digiro. They'll get the kill that they were after. Now with the Ghost up, they'll take the tier 1 almost certainly after the fortification wears off from Na'Vi. And Na'Vi just not prepared for that smoke initiation from VP at all.
That was finally a great Chronosphere from Yoku.
Yeah, making sure the Sven couldn't blink out on his second life. Very smart.
Although he tried to like time walk off the track, so I'm I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah. Looks like they've got an additional pickoff on Artstyle.
I mean,
so
Aloha, 7-0-5 on this slot. It's pretty much been a perfect slot game, Cap.
oh yeah, this is like the thing is they did exactly what they needed to for once. They actually went for like the 5-man push. They got a like guaranteed kill from the Chronosphere and the Exorcism. There's no way Na'Vi could fight back even with an Aegis. They just couldn't go into that. It's too much. The Chronosphere, freezing field, all of that is too many team fight abilities for them to go into. So you get the free pickoff, you take a tower. In fact, they took 2, and they've got additional pickoffs on like the Chen as well. So now it's Na'Vi's time to strike back, but Virtus.Pro shouldn't be looking for a fight. They shouldn't necessarily even be grouped up. They can just kind of spread out, play really defensively, maybe not even sit around their tier 1 tower. I think that's a kill just kind of waiting to happen, because I think Na'Vi would very likely go for a smoke rotation through the Radiant jungle, go for a pickoff, and then take that tier 1. That's like a classic play going around 15 minutes.
Chen's not been particularly useful this game on the side of Na'Vi. He was farming very, very well. He had like level 4 in like 4 or 5 minutes, but right now he's very low on net worth. This is not where Artstyle needs his Chen to be. He generally is like, I think, a 3rd on net worth on Na'Vi's team, but he's...
Do you think they should fight this? No Exorcism, no Chronosphere?
Yeah.
They got Chrono.
They have a little bit of time.
Natus is looking to make a beeline straight for Dendy, but Dendy already jumps in, grabs out G, moves into the side, the freezing field from FNG, that's pretty huge. Saneko will catch him with the Scenario Shuriken, but the Chronosphere coming in, catching 3, Ditra taken down on the sidelines, now VP looking to clean up more, they've lost G, they will actually have a losing note for as well. Artstyle trying to get himself out of this, FNG with the right clicks, Yoko jumps forward, he'll find Artstyle. So a 2-for-2 trade. Hello, seeing if he can catch out General as well, but the blink out's there, and Slaughter will manage to get himself out of it. So just a 2-for-2 trade there between the teams.
He didn't actually manage to get that Sven in that Chronosphere, and that Sven finished off the Death Prophet. That would have been a much bigger deal if Prophet had lived, and they could push a T2 with the Exorcism, but unfortunately for them, G keeps on dying.
You were down with Na'Vi taking that fight, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was. I think in some ways, like it worked out okay. They traded 2 for 2 against Track, you know, whatever. But I think it was like an unnecessary risk in some ways for Virtus.Pro to try and defend that tier 1 without their ultimates. But I guess the Chronosphere just came off, and obviously Yoku used it near perfectly. Obviously, him not catching this Sven did screw G, but that's okay. It still won the rest of the fight.
Well, no, Dance. Thinking about that one.
There's a gem now on Dendy.
Yeah.
And I think if VP don't go for the fight, though, it's just a really bad precedent for them. Because VP, they're supposed to be stronger at fighting Na'Vi with even net worth, which is kind of where it is. And yeah, they didn't have Exorcism, but it was really close to being off cooldown. And if they do that, then Na'Vi just take control of that right side of the map. That T1 tower is still alive.
That really is. Maybe the next part that Na'Vi... They could try and get aggressive when like that small window where Chronosphere was down. Obviously, they chose not to do that. I think they're waiting on the BKB of this Sven. Plus, he'll have level 3 God Strength. So you're going to hit a really big peak of team fighting power where if they get the right kind of initiation, if they catch G, like Sven can just burst him down in like 3 hits, and then the fight is kind of won from there. Just because Aloha Dance, while he's strong, I'm not sure if he actually competes with the Sven. They really need the Death Prophet in outputting damage with Exorcism to guarantee they win the fight.
I don't think they necessarily need Death Prophet, just because like the Slark and the Slark will cause a lot of havoc in the backlines because they just can't lock him down. Amp will get dispelled, Bat Rider can't really deal with the Slark, and he can just kind of build up stacks in the back line, and then eventually Na'Vi will kind of group up around him. That was kind of very fortunate that then he was able to nag G there with the lasso, because the Slark was just right on his tail, and if they had gotten the jump on Bat Rider, it would have been like a 0 for 3.
I think in many ways, though, this is like, once Na'Vi do have that BKB, this is their best chance to fight, right? Like, this is their biggest peak, whereas this game draws out, you're getting more situations where you're susceptible to, like, one good Chronosphere, and the Slark's getting bigger, and you just lose that fight, and with this kind of, like, transitional lineup where you're able to win a team fight so heavily because you're big ultimates, and then you also have the great pushing power of DP, the game, there's just, like, more opportunities for Virtus.Pro to wipe you.
I think you're underestimating the tankiness of this Sven, though. If he has BKB and Warcry, like, they're not going to be able to kill him, Exorcism or not. So if they can have him, like, super nice and tanky in the front line, maybe send back to counteract the Chronosphere, I think they can outlast VP.
Noticing a few fights start like this. Aloha Dance finding a quick pick. Artstar just a little bit too far outside of the base. Aloha Dance continuing his streak now, and off the back of that, VP, they'll be prepared to move up with the Ghost. General starts to lay down the Amplify. Actually caught up by the Yules. Aloha Dance jumping in, and General, he's going to get taken down as well. Na'Vi gonna have to hold the fort with 2 down. There's a buyback available on Slardar. But still, Freezing Field and Chronosphere available for VP, and with a good amount of duration up on the Ghost. Virtus.Pro in a fantastic position to maintain this high ground push, looking to be a little bit respectful of the jump in potential of Dendy, not wanting to get caught out by the lasso. So it looks like they will actually hold back, and it just seems that this game cap is a lot more composure from VP. They're just not throwing as much as they were game 1.
Yeah, they backed away from a team fight. That says a lot about Virtus.Pro, right? Like, the fact that they didn't try and continue to max UCXs and they still had Chronosphere up and everything, and they're like, no. There's no need to force that fight because they can just back up, reset, control the map, continue to farm up, get the Slark bigger and bigger. He's going to be going for an Abyssal Blade eventually. And even if, like, the Sven becomes, like, too tanky to deal with, even if he becomes a hero that, like, you can't actually focus down fast enough in the team fight, look at the rest of Na'Vi. Like, they're just not that strong past 30 minutes. Like, Bounty Hunter is purely utility based off of the gold that he picks off. Chen is, like, maybe a send back when you start going late game, plus the Golem aura, but he's not really that impactful past 30 minutes. Then it just leaves Sven and amplify damage.
VP have been playing a lot cleaner, but I also think Navi have been just feeding a lot more. Firstly, general into offlane, giving away those few deaths to the Slark, which led to the Shadow Blade, which leads to where we are now, and then art style feeding away 9 kills and a lot of Chen creeps.
Very much like kind of a pointless Chen game. They seem to like pick up Chen just because they're Navi art style. Always in the jungle with his junglers, but it just like, fundamentally this wasn't going to work with the way that Virtus.Pro drafted.
Still, if Sven gets strong enough, I think he can dish out a damage, especially with amplified damage. But a lot does rely on Ditya Ra.
55 seconds before Roche is up. It looks like VP want to take a fight before that respawn. Try and catch a bit of Na'Vi off guard. Natus already with the D-Ward, and VP wrapping around. At the same time, Na'Vi there smokes up. They could catch VP off guard and jump in. General catch it too with a crush. Ditya immediately looking to focus onto G, but G uses himself up. FNG with a freezing field. It's doing huge amounts of damage. The Chrono will come out, actually cancelling FNG's freezing field. He ends up going down, but VP, they've already found Seneko. Look towards Arcel. Double kill for Alonas. Now Ditya, he could be in trouble as well. Indeed, Alonas still has the Shadow Dance available. He's stealing a lot of essence shift stacks. They're going to be able to find the Sven kill. Another one for VP. 4 down on Na'Vi, and again, the fight pretty much perfect there from the team.
Where's Dendy been in these fights?
I don't know. Where's the follow-up off of that crush? Right?
Yeah, that was a 3-man crush.
3-man crush with Sven immediately on top of the Death Prophet, swinging away, and the cleave was hitting the Void. If it wasn't for the Yule Scepter and he got one more hit in, he kills Yoku on the side with cleave, who had amplified damage on him before he time walks, and then that fight is entirely different. There's no Chronosphere. They just didn't have the follow-up off of the Slithering Crush because they needed that additional disable from Dendy. And it's also the fact that if we only talk of Dendy because they've got a 4 and 5 position that don't output disables, right? You've got a Chen and a Bounty Hunter. It's not like they're going to follow that initiation up.
Snako just moving in to force them back. Na'Vi now getting heroes back on the map. Eyes on to Yoku. I'll see if they can chase this one down. General can look for a potential jump at the same time. Lower Dance, he's ready to go back into the fight. Shadow Dance back available. 17 stacks built up on the Essence Shift. Next time the Octarine Core, it's going to be there for G. So VP, they just really stepped up their performance here in game 2, and it's certainly Na'Vi on the back foot, Ben. I mean, what do they do to swing this one back round?
I think we all agree that VP had a stronger draft at this point, so they just need pretty much what exactly happened last time, like 3-man stun into another 3-man stun into killing the Death Prophet. The only problem is Death Prophet didn't die last fight. They just need to execute slightly better, continue the chain stun with
Stop. Being forced back, and Lower Dance jumps in. The crush will hold him. Ditya looking for the wrap round. The damage here, huge amounts, but not quite enough to get the kill. Yours up on G. Ditya trying to chase, will take down the Death Prophet. They'll lose no fear on the Earth Spitter as well. Na'Vi this time, they've found 2. Can they get themselves anything more? Lower Dance, Yoku heading off to the west. Na'Vi on hot pursuit. And they get this, Dendy, eyes onto it, but Yoku now goes for the Chrono. Gives Dendy a couple of slaps, then realizes, okay, let's not mess around with this team. Backs himself off. So this time VP hanging around for a little bit too long, looking to get themselves in off the back of a good boulder smash for no fear, but immediately the reactions there from Na'Vi, and Ditya, if he gets a lock onto you, he does an insane amount of damage on this Sven.
Yeah, twice in a row, Na'Vi have found the greater initiation in this team fight. If it ever gets the way of VP, it's like the fight's easily won, but good attempt there with a Force Staff, trying to get the lucky right-click bash in, but Na'Vi are going to be able to get Roshan for themselves. This is huge. Like, they get the Aegis, they can actually... Unfortunately, the lanes are pushing in, so they have to deal with that first, but if they can get some control of the map with this Aegis and then push in, looks like VP are going to try and contest, though.
And they do this, though. They're heading straight up to the pit. Lower Down's always got a double damage room. This Slark, he's incredibly dangerous, jumping immediately in. He's going to try and steal the Roshan, but he's killed by the Dire. Who's going to pick up the Aegis? Dendy will still grab it. Na'Vi looking to get themselves out, though. VP, they've got the superior punching power. Yoku's taken down one. Ditya the Ghost Drake, jumping in onto no fear. The Earth Spirit going to get taken down by the Sven. Eyes towards the Lower Dance. He's actually had to disengage on the Slark. Towards the north, Yoku playing around with Na'Vi. The BKB's now worn off for Ditya. Siphon chasing him. Yoku jumping in with the time dilation slow. The bash as well. Ditya in a lot of trouble and they'll lose the Sven. Dendy on the retreat. Has got that Aegis, but VP may be able to kill him twice. There'll be a buyback from Seneko. And killed him once. Buyback as well from Ditya. Seneko, oh, it's a dieback immediately. They've lost the Bounty Hunter. And VP, they're not done. Jumping in with a diffuser blade slow onto Dendi, silence onto 2. A lower dance out of mana though, has to be careful, but Yoku, he's ready to jump in the Crypt Swarm from G. They'll get themselves another Yoku, he's not done, yes he is, Na'Vi will finally shut it down with a freezing field from FNG, forcing Na'Vi back, Crypt Swarm, they'll take another, VP just running into Na'Vi's base. They'll try and punish this now, Titra jumping in, looking for FNG, but FNG holds him back, goes for the team with the creeps, they kill FNG. VP needs to get themselves out of here, General continuing to chase them outside of the base, can he get the vision onto G? G turns around with the silence, lower down, turns straight back into General, will get the kill onto the Slaughter. Dendi and Titra are left alive, but no fair, the border smash onto 2, a lower down fights Dendi, jump spawn, the Yule setup's gonna be there, is there any escape for this film? We'll get the blink out, no fair, moving forward, gets the magnetize onto Artstyle, Titra's moved on to left with the BKB, he's gonna survive, but Artstyle doesn't look to be as lucky as VP. They're just going full YOLO here, and it's working an absolute treat, beyond godlike now on the Slark, and VP now in a position with Na'Vi 3 men down. What a fight for them there, Kat.
That fuck went on so long that Aloha Dance ran out of mana. He's got 1,500 mana, and he threw enough pounces and shadow blades and ultimates that he actually ran out of mana. He couldn't keep killing people because he was running low on resources. Honestly, you're seeing the like, we very clearly, like, VP had the better draft, and many of the reasons why is you look at Navi's team fight, and it's just like, if you don't win the fight in the first 5 seconds, that's what it is. First 5 seconds, initiation and Sven hitting people during the stun time. If he doesn't manage to kill or at least threaten a bunch of people, the fight's over. Like, it's just gonna draw out, they're gonna kite the Sven, and Slark's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger off of these Essence shifts.
They've possibly got one more fight, Navi. They're gonna have the full 5-man backup. Yeah, VP, they'll take the top racks, 1 tier 4, but there's still a tier 2 standing on the bottom lane, so Navi looks like they'll live another day, Ben, but they just lost so much there.
This game just does not seem like a place where a Chen should be. He has just not been able to follow up. Like, Diyara is doing everything that he can. He's almost killing the Death Prophet at the start of each and every one of these fights, but no follow-up.
He's found a Crystal Maiden. And she won't be a Maiden for much longer as Na'Vi rip her to pieces. We'll take down 1.
And now only a 6-second BKB left on the Sven, so his days are numbered. Even an Atos coming out on the Crystal Maiden, she was finishing it up on that side of the map, and the Abyssal on the Slark to even just kill him through BKB. And I don't think that Diyara can carry this.
Certainly not. They've got to get just like Virtus.Pro actually have to group up in a cluster in order to make the fight okay for Na'Vi. You know, you have to have positional errors from VP to actually make the kind of AoE stuns work, where you've got the really good crush, a 2 or 3 man crush, follow up Stormbolt, you cleave through the heroes, you take them out, fights 3 versus 5, and you clean up what you can. But if it's not that, they make the kind of initiation like just on 1 hero, even if it's just like, say they target on the Death Prophet, but they throw all their disables just on her, and yes, they manage to kill her, but it means that there's a good Chronosphere still out. Aloha Dance is right-clicking people away. Virtus.Pro can still win that fight. So it's like Na'Vi are so far behind that they just got to go for kind of Hail Mary play.
And back during the draft, Bambo was much preferring like an Invoker or something on Dendi, and this is one of the main reasons why. Like on the Batrider, he hasn't died. He's only died 2 times, right? That's very low on the Batrider, but look at his net worth. He's number 8. He's even behind General, who was feeding early on in the game. And he tends to play these like playmaker heroes in a much different style, in that he doesn't get that much farm, whereas you need to be able to go in. You have to die sometime just for the team, and I think he's been a little bit too hesitant on the Batrider this game, and it's been very costly in the team fights.
It comes down to the issue of like the big problems of single core Sven once you push past 30 minutes.
Around, Diyara jumping onto G, looking to take the Death Prophet out of the fight, but again, the timing for the Yules is there. G giving himself alive and get himself away. The Chrono coming in, catches Diyara, so Teddy tries to jump in with the lasso, with a freezing field from FNG, again doing so much in these fights. They've lost Diyara, they've lost Dendi, and again, Na'Vi in a position with 2 permanently dead. GG is called. And VP, boys, after a disappointing performance in Game 1, came back with an absolute spectacle here in Game 2.
They finally incorporated Aloha Dance into the lineup, and I think once I saw that smoke from them coming out around 18 minutes, I was like, okay, VP actually know how to use their lineup this time.
Yeah, they really did. It seemed like they were much more willing to group up earlier. They actually played around with Yoku as well. Like, that was another one that was missing in Game 1, and he got some, like, he got one at least really good Chronosphere that won them the fight. I think Virtus.Pro actually looked kind of decent, but again, it was, I feel like a heavy outdraft. I would like to see in